Hello, welcome. I'm Ibrahim Chisti, this is my brother Mohammed Chisti, and we're the referee co-chairs for the 2018 Jimmy Kim Invitational Taekwondo Championship.
In this video, we're going to give an explanation and interpretations on the rules that we're going to use for the tournament this year. Basically, we're going to use a slightly modified set of the current USA Taekwondo rules for sparring. These include all the updates that World Taekwondo has implemented in 2018. For starters, you'll want to take a look at the JKI information packet, which is available for download at thejki.com. This includes all the general information about the tournament that you'll need.
In terms of sparring rules, we'll be using the USAT sparring rules that were published in June 2018. This includes all the latest changes that have come from World Taekwondo. First off, when it comes to coaches' protests during the match, we've modified the rules from USAT because we do not have video review. Instead, each coach will be issued a red or blue coach's challenge card that will be used during the match to raise their hand and color card to indicate that they wish to review something. Printed on the card itself is a list of what can be protested or asked for from the center referee or the corner judges. This should keep it very simple for everybody and straightforward without any kind of guessing. If you are incorrect and your protest or challenge is refused, you'll receive a penalty for your player, but you can keep your card and continue to challenge future decisions during that match if you disagree with them.
Since the rules have been recently updated, we'd like to provide some explanation on how our referees will interpret those rules. For the complete rules, search online for USA Taekwondo competition rules and make sure you're looking at the June 2018 updated version. There are 12 prohibited acts and penalties, and we're going to cover a few of them with our specific explanations for the JKI. In terms of prohibited acts, we're going to start with the one everybody loves, crossing the boundary line. Last year, 2 feet out was a gamjang. This year, 1 foot out is gamjang. So, we've instructed the referees to call this penalty when 1 foot is completely outside of the ring. 1 foot is completely in the other color from the main ring color. So, if you're hanging on to just an 1/8 of an inch sliver or something like that, there's a chance that the referee might see that as your foot being completely out. So, you're going to want to stay away from that boundary line. Keep in mind that if your opponent commits a prohibited act, a gamjang, and they are called for it, then you will not be called for the gamjang for stepping out of bounds. And that is the same as it has been in the past. Next, falling down. When a player falls down, universally they will be called for a gamjang violation, regardless of intent, with 3 exceptions. And I'm going to read them from the rules. First, if the players collide without exchanging techniques and both fall down, there will be no gamjang called. Second, the players clash shins and both fall down. Again, no gamjang violation. And third, the referee gives an 8 count to the fallen player. So if the player is, hit with a severe, high impact headshot in a full contact division, the referee has got an 8 count, they fall down, there will be no additional gamjang penalty for the player who fell down. That will also apply to body shots that receive a standing 8 count.
Next, we're going to talk about avoiding or delaying the match. There is a lengthy explanation in the full rules that you can read online, but we're going to talk about the main change that's happened most recently. And that is the change from a 10-second window of inaction to a 5-second window. So most of you know if neither fighter is engaging, the referee will indicate fight. At that point, they have now 5 seconds after the command was given for one or both of the fighters to begin engaging. If neither fighter engages in that 5 seconds, based on the center referee's view, both will receive a gamjang. If one fighter is moving backward, avoiding the engagement after that command, versus the other moving forward, the fighter who's moving backward will receive that gamjang. Next up is grabbing or pushing the opponent. Grabbing is straightforward. It's the same as it's always been. Hooking, grabbing the uniform, trying to hide it on the other side where the referee can't see. Straightforward, no changes. Pushing is going to have 2 acts that are penalized. The first is if you push the opponent outside of the boundary line. And again, that's 1 foot out. The second is pushing the opponent in any way that prevents the kicking motion or the normal execution of an attack. So pushing for space while trying to attack or pushing yourself back, no problem. But as soon as someone starts to push or starts to kick and you push them or try to shove them out of the way to cause them to lose balance or knock them down or otherwise impede their attack, that's a gamjang. The next rule that we're going to cover is about lifting the knee, and it's somewhat tricky, so we're going to explain what is a penalty and what is not. The first 3 ways that you can get a penalty are 1, lifting the knee to block your opponent's kick or impede their kicking progress. The second is if you lift the leg any height for 3 seconds without actually attacking or making contact with your opponent. Again, that's a gamjang. The third is if you are aiming a kicking motion below your opponent's waist. That's also a gamjang penalty.
However, there are 2 examples of lifting the knee that will not get a penalty. The first, as described in the USAT competition rules, is if you lift your leg and immediately follow in a combination move and attempt to score. That can be with a kick or a punch. So that's pretty clear. If you lift the knee at any height and then you immediately follow it up with a kick or a punch, attempt to score, and I'm clarifying this, it is no gamjang penalty. And for the JKI, as we did last year, we're going to not penalize checking motions. So if you lift your foot and it doesn't go above the knee in a checking motion, you will not be called for a penalty. Another new prohibited act that could draw a gamjang penalty is attacking the opponent's trunk area, trunk protector, with the bottom or the side of the foot from the clinch position when the knee is pointed out. So just a quick example of that. Typically this would happen in an open stance position or maybe even closed stance where the knee comes up and turns out and the bottom or the side of the foot is going to attack to attempt to score points this way. So kind of like this. It's kind of like a monkey kick or monkey kick, but to the trunk. However, if you're attempting with the top of the foot in a twist kick motion this way, you would actually be allowed to do that still.
Now we're going to talk about the golden round. The big change that happened for the golden round in the event of a tie at the completion of the regular rounds is the golden round now requires 2 points to declare a winner, or the other opponent receiving 2 gamjangs. So at this point, a single gamjang will not end it, or a single punch, which is worth 1 point, will not end it. Any other technique, scoring technique, will end it, and receiving 2 gamjangs during that golden point round will also end it. That's everything we wanted to cover today. The other rules and explanations can be found in the USAT competition guidelines. Like we said, simply Google that and you'll find the June 2018 competition rules. That'll have everything else you need in there other than what we clarified here. If you have any other questions, simply reach out to us and we can answer those questions ahead of the tournament.
Or you can find us on the competition floor, flag us down, talk to us, and we'll do our best to explain the rules to you. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you at the JKI.